Let's really get into Robin and her whole divorce drama because honestly, it's even wilder when you dig beneath the surface. Rewatching it hits completely differently. The things she says and the way she says them will leave you stunned. It all starts with Robin saying, "I wish I didn't have to do this." But catch this, she corrects herself mid-sentence. That tiny slip, it's everything. It shows this wasn't some gut-wrenching decision being forced on her. It was completely her choice. She wasn't even trying to hide it. But buckle up, because here's where it really spirals. Picture this, Robin, sitting in the lawyer's office, finalizing her divorce from Mary. And guess who's sitting right next to her? Her new girlfriend. Yeah, right there. While she's officially ending her marriage. Could she have made it any clearer? It's almost like she wanted to twist the knife a little deeper. Meanwhile, Mary's left standing there, trying to pick up the shattered pieces of betrayal. It's gut-wrenching, and if you think that's bad, wait until you hear what she says in earlier episodes. I had to rewind and listen again, because once you catch it, you can't unhear it. Robin breaks down how the kids are constantly fighting, how Mary always plays the peacemaker, and how she asks the other wives to back her up. But the bombshell drops when she admits, "My kids are not being accepted. They don't fit." Then, she says something even more chilling. "I only have a certain amount of time to get my kids plugged into this family. If I don't, they'll be old enough, especially Dayton, to choose to live with their dad." There it is, the raw, ugly truth. This was never just about blending families or building harmony. It was about control. Robin wasn't as worried about the family dynamics as she was about the ticking clock. She was terrified of losing her children to her ex, and then it takes an even darker turn. Robin accuses her ex of being abusive, and from there, it spirals. Now, between a toxic ex and a messy new family. If you were forced to choose, you'd probably take the family too, right? But here's the thing. Was the Brown family really as awful as Robin painted them to be? Or was this just Robin weaving a story to tighten her grip? And don't even get me started on Robin's blonde era. Seriously, was she trying to channel Christine's energy or something? It's impossible to keep track of the changes. Looking back, it all becomes even clearer. A few episodes before the divorce chaos, Robin has a total meltdown over Dayton not fitting in. She was panicking because once he turned 12 or 13, he could legally decide where to live, and that terrified her. So what did she do? She stirred the pot. She created drama. She pushed for total control. Honestly, it feels less like a family drama and more like a true crime documentary. Something straight out of Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey, where one parent tries to erase the other from their kids' lives, and don't even get me started on the way she manipulated Dayton's name change, only for him to later reclaim his identity. Good for him for standing strong. When you peel back the layers, you realize this wasn't about love, safety, or blending families. It was about fear. It was about desperation. Robin was terrified of losing something she was never fully secure in to begin with. And trust me, this is just scratching the surface. There's so much more to unpack about this family's tangled web. Turns out, the real reason behind everything Robin's been doing is her fear that her kids might choose their biological father over her. And here's the kicker. That's been her driving motivation this whole time. Now think about it. Robin had been dropping hints for a while that her ex was abusive. Having seen firsthand the scars such an environment can leave, it baffles me how she made the choices she did. You'd think she'd rather deal with a difficult family than risk her kids returning to an allegedly toxic home, right? But if Robin was really that terrified of her children going back to that life, it suggests one of two things. Either the Brown family was worse than they ever admitted, or, and this is far more likely, Robin wasn't exactly honest about her ex. And let's be real, we all know which way the evidence points. Now here's where it really blows up. If Robin lied about her ex, then Mary's divorce, totally, completely unnecessary. The chaos, the heartbreak, all of it could have been avoided if Robin had just let things unfold naturally. But no, control was the name of the game. And speaking of control, remember Robin's sudden blonde phase? Was that her trying to mimic Christine's easygoing, approachable vibe? Honestly, it's exhausting trying to keep up with all the rapid transformations she's been throwing at us. But let's rewind for a second. Before everything spiraled out of control, Robin was worried about Dayton not bonding with his new siblings. She kept mentioning that at 12 or 13, he could legally decide to. And that's when the real madness started. Robin didn't just want custody, she wanted complete airtight control over her kids. It's unsettling, almost reminiscent of the manipulative behavior you see in dark documentaries like Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey, where new partners aim to erase the other parent's influence completely. And it gets worse. Robin didn't just orchestrate an adoption. She made Dayton change his name too. He didn't even see it coming. The adoption blindsided him. And now, years later, he's taken his power back and reclaimed his birth name, David. Good for him. Let's take a moment to talk about fear. Sure, fear of death is real. The idea that you might not be there for your kids is a gut-wrenching thought. As someone young myself, I get that fear. But Robin's terror, it feels different. Was she truly afraid her ex would swoop in and steal her children? Or was she just terrified of losing her grip on them? Because here's the thing. By all accounts, her ex wasn't some domineering, dangerous figure. In fact, he seemed almost underbearing. Which begs the question, what exactly was Robin fighting against? The deeper you dig, the more obvious it becomes. This wasn't about protecting her kids. It was about fear. It was about control. It was about manipulation. And hang tight. Because trust me, this rabbit hole only goes deeper. Let's fast forward to another juicy bit. The day before Aspen's wedding, the wives are gathered, trying on hats that Mitch's sweet mom had handmade for them, a touching, thoughtful gesture. And of course, in true I'm the main character fashion, Robin pipes up. If I don't like the hat, I'm just not wearing it, she says, as if the whole wedding is about her. No regard for the kindness behind the gift. Nope. It's all about her comfort, her image. And then, right on cue, Mary chimes in with her trademark negativity. It's not what I imagined, but honestly, I don't even know what I was imagining. Classic Mary. Pause here for a second. Mitch's mom went out of her way to make those hats, carefully thinking about each wife's preferences. And this is the gratitude they show? Sure, maybe not everyone loves hats. I'm no fan either. But when someone you care about puts time and love into a gesture like that, you suck it up for a few hours. Instead, we get whining and eye rolls like it's some colossal burden. And sadly, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the mess Robin left in her wake. If someone went out of their way to make something for me, I'd suck it up and wear it for a few hours. It's about showing respect, not making everything about myself. But no, the drama had to be all about them. The way they treated Mitch's mom, honestly, it was just plain rude. And here's the kicker, and trust me, it's a big one. I'm really hoping that whole spectacle was just staged for the cameras, because if that's how they actually behave in real life, yikes. Still, knowing how reality TV works, I wouldn't be surprised if they whispered to Mitch's mom afterward, "Oh, don't worry, we're just pretending to be upset. It's all for the show." Even so, you could tell the producers were stirring the pot, fanning the flames to create a little gossip storm. Because let's be real, this ridiculous hat drama was most likely just filler, a bit of fluff to string the real staged moments together. Now, between you and me, I'm not even a hat person, but if someone special made one for me, I'd throw it on with a smile, no questions asked. Meanwhile, these wives act like their personal comfort matters more than simple gratitude for a thoughtful gesture. Honestly, it's appalling. And poor Mitch's mom. I can just picture her thinking, really? This is the thanks I get? Then, of course, we swing back around to Mary, stuck in her own sad little spiral. Her marriage with Kody is crumbling. Her sister wives aren't the ride or die friends she once dreamed of. And with Leon away at college, she's probably feeling more isolated than ever. It's heartbreaking, truly. And while it doesn't excuse some of her behavior, it certainly explains some of those outbursts. Now, here's where I completely lose it when watching Sister Wives, Kody's big sacrifices. The way he acts like taking his wives on trips is this massive burden he carries, like he's some king handing out rare gifts. But let's stop and think about this for a second. Is Kody sacrificing, or is he living the dream while the wives pick up the pieces back home? Because from where I'm sitting, Kody's out there living the good life. Fine dining, luxurious vacations, exotic getaways, while pretending he's suffering through it. It's almost laughable. Meanwhile, who's holding down the fort? Who's raising the kids, paying for all the endless activities, handling all the boring, messy daily chaos? Not Kody. Yet there he is, throwing himself a pity party like he's the only one carrying any weight. Eye roll, anyone? Imagine being one of those wives, hearing him moan and groan about how hard it is to balance his busy schedule of fun and luxury. He's basically living like a freewheeling bachelor, while the real burdens of family life fall squarely on their shoulders. And somehow, none of them call him out for it. Kody's rolling around town in his fancy little sports car, acting like he's some eligible single guy, while the rest of the family is stuck with duct-taped minivans and overdue bills. The contrast is almost too absurd for words. He loves to brag about all the things he supposedly sacrifices, but if you actually look closely, he's doing the bare minimum, if that. If Kody were truly the husband he claims to be, maybe, just maybe, he could justify a few of his endless complaints. But he's not. He doesn't have strong relationships with his wives. He doesn't genuinely support his family the way he insists he does. And let's get one thing crystal clear. I'm not saying a man has to be the sole provider, but these were Kody's own standards, his dream, his rules, his big polygamous fantasy, and he's the one who let it all collapse into chaos. You'd think that if you chose this life, you'd at least know how to make it work. The situation Kody's in, it's a complete disaster, and you can bet every other polygamist out there watching is cringing hard. Christine cracked the door open, paving the way for herself, and eventually Janelle, to break free from the endless cycle of toxicity. And who would have guessed? Mary, of all people, becomes the unlikely example of how to walk away from a dead-end marriage. But let's get into it. Kody's financial meltdown. This man is practically a walking, talking cautionary tale for bad decision-making. I'll admit it. I hopped on the Sister Wives bandwagon a little late. I'm currently on season 14, episode 2, and honestly, I'm floored. They can't even sell their homes back in the Vegas cul-de-sac. And meanwhile, Kody had pitched this entire relocation to Flagstaff as some kind of brilliant financial masterstroke. What a joke. Well, someone really tanked this one, didn't they? Got another one of those whiteboard presentations to dig us out of this crater? But nope. Just more smiles and blind optimism. It's like dissent against Kody is treated as outright betrayal, as if disagreeing with him somehow shatters the whole family dynamic. It's wild. Honestly, at this point, it feels like watching some twisted version of a Stockholm Syndrome unfold. And Robin? She's playing a whole different game. While the others struggle just to be heard, Robin's out here operating like a grandmaster, running 4D chess on Kody. Every move she makes is calculated, all sweetness and innocence to his face, while pulling every string behind the scenes to get exactly what she wants. Let's not kid ourselves. The move to Arizona? That decision was locked down long before any family meeting was held. Kody and Robin had already made up their minds. The others were just there to play along with the illusion of choice. It was a scripted performance from the very beginning. Truth be told, Kody and Robin deserve each other. They're both financially reckless, clinging to a fantasy while the entire family sinks deeper into chaos. And the worst part? The others are still stuck on the ride, family straight into this mess. It's almost painful to watch. I'm sitting here, practically begging for someone, maybe Janelle if she can summon some backbone, to finally tell Kody to his face just how royally he screwed them over. But of course, that confrontation never comes. No, instead, they all sit there, quietly nodding, pretending everything is fine. Remember that grim meeting in Robin's massive Flagstaff house? When Janelle casually mentioned it could take until spring to get out from under their unsold Vegas homes? I was holding my breath, just waiting for one of the wives to shoot Kody a look and say, "This is the same man who constantly paints himself as the logical one, the cool-headed leader, free from emotional decisions. Yet here he is, stumbling from one terrible financial blunder to the next, dragging everyone along with him." He completely steamrolled every wife's objections, dismissed every single legitimate concern, and marched the whole,